afternoon and good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for today's webinar. This is Paul from the SRT team, and we're very happy to have you all for today's webinar with ESCP Business School. We're going to have a great chat with three representatives from the university who can tell you more about the unique opportunities that you can get at this one of the top business schools here in Europe. I see that we have some students from Slovakia, Guatemala, also kids from Dominican Republic and Ecuador. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. And it's my pleasure to present to you today's speakers, Ms. and Alessia, who will tell you a little bit more about ESCP Business School. Ladies, can I have you on? Yeah, great. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Pavel. So my name is Roxana Olaru. I am the first presenter. I am the coordinator for admissions and recruitment in the Madrid campus. And I will be talking to you today about the school in general. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cécile Marquet. I'm in charge of admission at the Turin campus. I will speak about the bachelor program right after Roxana.
All right, so to begin, I'm going to discuss about the general information about the school. Sorry, Alessia, if you would like to introduce yourself, I will let you do that before I start.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alessia Godino, and I work with Cécile Marquet in the admission Turin campus, and I'm in charge of the Bachelor in Management.
The Bachelor in Management at ESCP Europe. The first thing I'm going to do is talk to you about 3 surprising facts. Did you know that ESCP Business School is actually the first business school in the world? It was actually founded in 1918, and last year we celebrated our bicentenary, so 200 years of existence. Since then, we've come a long way. Now we are European and multi-campus, which means it's the same school, but we are all over Europe. As you can see, we have campuses in London, Paris, Madrid, Turin, Berlin, and Warsaw. We are also nationally and internationally accredited. So I'm going to give you some quick facts about the school so you can see how much we have grown and how many nationalities we actually have on campus currently. We have 5,000 managers and executives trained every single year. We have 6,000 students in degree programs representing 121 nationalities. So that's a lot of nationalities overall. We take pride in our diversity. We have 130 academic alliances in Europe and the world. And we have 60,000 alumni or former students in more than 150 countries currently working, studying, and also we have 160 research active professors with over 30 nationalities. Last but not least, I would like to present to you the rankings of our school that we are also very proud of. We are the 2nd Master in Finance in the world, the 5th Master in Management in the world, and we also have the 14th Executive MBA in the world. We are also the 14th business school in the world. So that is something that we really like you to know, that this is our rankings and this is the way that we are. We are an international school, multi-campus, and the oldest business school in the world. So now I would like to let my colleague Cécile explain a little bit more about the specifics of the program and what makes it so interesting.
Okay. So yes, so the Bachelor in Management program is a 3-year degree program. So it's for students who are finishing high school. Like Roxana said, we are an international business school. So also our program are very multicultural because we have a lot of students coming from all over the world. And during those 3 years, the students will have to change city each year. So afterwards, I will show you a slide where it explains all the tracks you can choose, and you will have the possibility to ask all the questions in the chat room. We will answer later. Apart from the multicultural aspect, the curriculum of this bachelor is, of course, in management, because we have a business school, but also we have liberal arts and languages inside the curriculum, which is very interesting nowadays. Soft skills are very important in companies. You can study entirely in English, or you can also have some classes in French, in Spanish, and in German according to the campus you will choose. So I will explain in the following slide. The approach of ESCP Europe is very practical. So we have a lot of teamwork, but also internship included in the program. So we are interested at students who wants to launch an international career, of course. And the Bachelor in Management is fully compliant with international standard. It is actually accredited by the French government. So you can then do, for instance, a master in all the countries of the world because it respects the European Union standards. So just to show you the track, so I will spend some time on that slide because I know there are always a lot of questions. So please ask your question in the chat room. So for the first year, you can choose between London or Paris, and it's in English. Therefore, we will need a C1 level of English. It means we will accept 3 types of certification. One is IELTS 6.5, one is TOEFL 90, or the Cambridge Advanced in English. If you are coming from IB, or if you have been studying in English during the last 2 years, then you will be exempted of the English certification. For the second year, the students can choose between Madrid, Paris, or Turin. So Madrid and Paris are both in English and local language, so French and Spanish, while Turin is totally in English. So if you want to study in Madrid and Paris, you need to know a bit of Spanish or French, and we will ask a B1 level of the language in order for you to follow the lesson in local language. And then last year, it's to be chosen between Berlin or Paris. Berlin is in English, but if you speak German, you can also choose some optional courses in German, but it's not compulsory. While Paris, it's a study track option. So it means that the students will spend like 3 days a week at school and 2 days in company. So in order for you to find a company that will take you for the year, we need you to speak a good French. So we will ask for a C1 level during the admission phase. So what is about the academic approach of ESCP Europe? So we are a lot of group work in small teams. We actually try to recreate what happens in company at school. So basically, the students normally arrive in class and will bring a business case, and the students will work in group in order to solve the case together. And what is very interesting is that we have students who come from all over the world. So it means that you will have to work with students from other countries, other cultural backgrounds, work together, get along, find a solution, and present a project, for instance, to the class. And this is exactly what happens in company, in multinational firms. And then we aim at developing also personal development, personal skills of our students. So for instance, we will have a seminar about public speakings, about CV, how to build your CV. We want to develop these skills for the students in order for them to be ready for a company experience. And in fact, we have 2 internships that are included in the program at the second year and the third years. This is the structure of the academic year. So so it's 2 terms. The first one starts in September and end in December. At the middle of the term, you will have the midterm exam that will be on the first month and a half of the courses. And then at the end, in December, you will have an exam week that will include all the subjects of the first term. So it's an intensive week during which you have to do 1 exam per day plus languages. So it seems very hard and tough, and it is actually. But what is important is that you will be evaluated during the whole term. So you will be evaluated on class participation, on your teamwork, on the midterm, and then during the final exams. So this is why it is feasible to do a concentrated exam week. Same will happen during the second term from January to April. So usually at the end of April, beginning of May, we have no more activity at school because it's time for internship. So the internship is not compulsory during the first year, but often the students choose to do one because it gives you more, let's say, more asset for then the second year internship and the third years. What is compulsory is to do 24 weeks in total during the 3 years. So this is the curriculum. Just I will comment briefly because we already talk about the content. So the first block, management, economics, and law, you will find those subjects in almost all the business school. So it's not specialized only on one subject. It's a general management degree. So you will see accounting, marketing, human resources, stat, economy, okay, a lot of different aspects, an overview of all the management subjects. So what is very particular about ESCP curriculum is that we also have languages and humanities. As you can see, we have psychology, sociology, history, languages. You have to take 2 languages courses per year, and English isn't considered a foreign language, so you can choose 2 languages among the campus languages, and also according to the track you will follow. And then you can see collective project and internship. We already talked about that, so it's a very practical curriculum. These are some stats about the nationalities of the class who will graduate in 2022. So they started last September. So you see we have many nationalities. Europe is well represented, and of course the country where we have our campus are maybe more represented. So a lot of French, German, Italian, but we also have a lot of other nationalities. And that make it even more interesting for the group work, as I told you before. Student life, I will be quite quick. We have a lot of student association, and we encourage the students to create student association or to be part of it, because it's really part of the campus life. Recently, we've been doing a webinar with Roxana about that. So if some of you are interested, we can send you the link, and we can where we explain more detailed student society. This is the career office activities. So since for us, the company world is very important, and we have internship included in the program, we have a lot of help for the students in building their CV, doing mock interview. We invite alumni to give some testimony of what they're doing now. We organize career fairs where we invite company, and the company comes to check the CV and to interview our students. So the career office really try to teach the students how to find a job. Okay, and it's a very strong point of ESCP. And these are some stats. What can you do after the graduation? So these are the stats of the students who just graduated in last October. So 67% of them choose to start a career, so to start a professional experience. So I know many of them, and many of them want to work somewhere and then after do a master. Among those who search for a job, 98% of them found the job just 3 months after graduation. And another 33% of students want to pursue directly the studies and do a master degree. So often it's a specialized master because since our program is a general management program, during the program they find out that I don't know if they like a lot marketing, and maybe they trade marketing during an internship. So then they will continue in a specialized master in marketing, for instance. These are the company where the students have been, some of the company where the students are working now. So as you can see, there is a lot of different industries that are represented and different departments, because our bachelor isn't a specialized bachelor, it's a general management program. It opens you a lot of doors. And these are some university where students can apply or have been also applying and are now during the master. So as you can see, we have a lot of different countries. So just to quote some university, Columbia University, LSE, Cambridge, we have St. Gallen in Switzerland. And since we are talking to Spanish and Italian campuses, EE, Zade, Bocconi are some of the names where students are currently doing masters. So the reason to choose, I think we already talked about that. So it's a general management program because we have a pedagogy that is very practical, and because it gives you an incredible international experience. This also we have seen. I will let Alessia present the admission part with the detail.
Thank you, Cécile. Okay, so I'm going to show you the last part, the application process. As you can see on this slide, the application process is divided in 2 steps. So the first one is the online application, and the second one is the admission session, so the personal interview. For the first part is very, very simple, because if you want to apply for the Bachelor in Management, you just visit our website on ESCP.eu, and you have to click on Bachelor in Management and apply for it. So basically, you have to upload all the documents that you can see in the left side. So we need the academic results of the last 3 years of your high school. For the current year, you can upload just the first semester. And then also for the academic part, you have to write the personal email of one of your professors. Then you can choose, of course. And we also evaluate your extra academic profile. So basically, you need to upload the personal statement and your curriculum vitae in English, written in English. And the languages certificate, so the English certificate that is mandatory, and the French or the Spanish certificate if you want to go to Madrid or Paris for the second year. These certificates are not mandatory for the first step, so it means that you can send it after. I just remind you that the deadline is the end of August. And Once you have completed the application, you can, if you are, if the application will be positively evaluated, you can be invited to the second part, the second step, that is the personal interview, 30 minutes long, that is divided basically in 3 parts. So the motivational questions, jury will ask you to introduce yourself, to talk about your extracurricular activities, experiences abroad, etc. So the goal here is to convince the jury that you are focused to enroll in such a program and that your profile is in line with it. And then the logical part, so candidates here can be required basically to solve brain teasers, math problems. And the last part is about current news. So the jury will ask you something about current news. You will prepare about it. So read the newspapers and magazines. You can be exempted from the alphanumerical reasoning test, so the SHL test, the test in logic. We will talk about this, we will inform about this after the evaluation of your online application. After that, after the personal interview, you will receive the official email. I think within 1 week. So once you are admitted, you can apply for scholarship. As you can see, we have some scholarships that are based on 2-3 criteria: merit, the diversity, and the family income, of course. Scholarship can cover from 10% to 50% of the entire tuition fee, and it's very important because they are renewable each year. On the right side, you can see all the fees for European and non-European students. And okay, just to remind you, this important slide, because there are some deadline for the first step and the second step. So for the first step, for the Madrid campus, so we are talking about from Spanish and Portuguese students, the deadline of the online application are by the 16th of June. If you want to do the interview on June 22, and the 7th of July if you want to sit the interview on July 16th. For the Turin campus, so for the Italian candidates, the deadline is on the July 6th, because the last admission session is on July 20. So here you can find our contact details, and for the Turin campus, and here you can find the contact of my colleague Roxana for the Madrid campus. So thank you for, of course, you can also write your questions in the chat room, and now we are going to answer about your questions. So thank you so much, and I let the word to Cecile and Roxana.
To watch video of our career fair now, which is one of our fortes as a school, employability. So we would like you to see that first, and then we will be right back to the questions you've asked on the chat. Thank you.
also a great exercise, actually, to sell yourself, to practice your pitch, to talk to people which don't know you and make the best impression you can actually make.
It's a great opportunity for us as Bain & Company to be at this event. I'm an alumni of ESCP. Lots of my friends today and my professional network comes from ESCP. We seize every opportunity we have to give back to the ESCP community.
It's helping me to reach my goals by understanding a little better what each company does and what I will be able to do later on. So this career fair has helped me to see what are my options and to try to prepare myself for my future.
I think it's really fulfilling. I'm getting the feeling that people are really welcoming and they want to know who you are, what you're about, what you do, what's your expertise.
So there's several reasons that we love coming to the ESCP Forum. We love meeting the students, one because they really do represent a wide variety of backgrounds. They have such an element of diversity in every student, and as an international company such as L'Oréal, we're really looking for that opportunity and talent pool to pull from. We love having students being very prepared in their conversations with us. They are coached to really think about the questions that they want to ask their recruiters.
These career fairs can be quite important. Actually, that's how I met the company where I did my internship last year. I was in the career fair in Madrid and I met a technology company there. They gave me the opportunity to work in Madrid for 6 months, which was a great experience.
So we were looking now at the questions. If my colleagues Cecile and Alessia would also like to join us for the whole set of questions you've asked, we will take turns in answering the questions. So I'm going to go with the first one. So we're going to take it in order. I'm going to go with the first one, so then you can, and we can just help each other out. So the first question is, the fact that it's a multi-campus, does it mean that the student is supposed to change campus each year? Yes, it does mean that you're supposed to change campus. That is the whole structure of the program. That's what makes it special. And that's what convinces employers to actually hire you. And that's what convinces schools, international schools, to take you into their masters, because you have that extra. You have 3 years in 3 European cities of your choosing, and you have that international experience that can be proven. And you also have the internships that we were, showing off in the last video. So yeah, for sure. I mean, I know it's hard, but it's part of the learning process that you have to change. But also don't forget, this is the same school. It's a multi-campus school. So even if you change, there's no administrative discontinuity like with other programs where you just have to prove what you did in other years and in other schools. Here you're in the same school, same system. So you will just change places every year. That's it.
Thank you. So we are going to the second question. So where do the students live? Do they need their own apartment, or does the university have the dorms? So we don't have the dorm in the dorms at our campuses. We do have some agreements with some students' residencies. So this is a possibility. Or the students often actually choose to share apartments, often because it's cheaper and probably because it's also maybe more fun for some aspects. So we let the students decide what they wish to do. What we do is we put in contact the students who are leaving city with the students who are arriving, so they can keep the apartment with CP Europe to ESCP students. So usually that's how it happens. We have a platform where they can share apartment ads, or we also have Facebook groups. So it's not a problem usually finding apartments. So of course there are some cities which are easier than other, but usually it's no big deal for the students to find an apartment.
Sorry, I wanted to add something to that because we also have information from the students themselves on residences that are close to the campuses, especially in their first year in London and Paris. So the students themselves recommend student residences. So although we don't have our own dorms, you will have access to information and it will be facilitated. And we do have contacts in some parts with some residences, like a close contact, so they keep us informed on changes, like the change of policy, more flexibility, for example, for our students. So you will get plenty of help, and as Cecile said, many options out there for your preferences.
With the third question, if a student has finished an IB diploma in English, do they need an English certificate? Good question, because no, you don't need an English certificate if you just finish an IB.
That for students doing the IB, are there any specific topics required, and how many points would be required? That is an interesting question, and I always get like, what is the minimum? What do you look into? I think that what is important to know is that being a business school, we look at your grades, but we also look at what you do in your interview, your motivation, your non-academic. So it's like a trifecta of admission. We have your grades on one hand, and then we have your interview, and then we have the non-academic part of your profile. Of course, we do want you to have good results in maths. So maths is quite important. You have to have good knowledge, sound knowledge of mathematics. I don't know if you'd like to add something, Cecile and Alessia, on that.
Yes, actually, I see that there is another question regarding to that. I think that we accept math standard level 5 for score, math studies 6, and there is someone who is asking for the score, the predicted score for the IB. So we want minimum 32. But of course, as Roxana said, we also evaluate the extra academic part. So it's we ponder both parts. So if you have doubt that you can apply, or you're not good enough, you don't know, you can just send us the transcript, and we will and the CV, so we can have a look at your application and tell you if it is worth to apply or not.
Yeah, and also for the Italian candidates, it depends of the type of high school. So it is different from scientific high school and classic high school, for example. The last question is, when do your applications open for the New Year's application session? So I think it means for 2021, September 2021, and in more or less at the beginning of October.
For all the campuses, generally, we open admissions in October 2020, for example, this year, in order to start in September 2021, as Alessia said.
The next question is, my question is that you require 3 years of past high school results, but the IB is only 2 years. Do we have to provide the diploma of secondary education? We will need the year before the IB at this point. So we need the year before the 10th grade, and then 11 and 12.
In all countries, are all the tuition fees in all the countries the same? They vary because we have a subsidy from the ministry, from the French ministry. So generally, if you're part of the European Union, if you have a European nationality, the price is different from if you're outside of the European Union.
I see there is a question about, do you accept Duolingo test or only IELTS or TOEFL? Right now, we accept only IELTS or TOEFL. I know that there is a possibility to do it online due to the current situation.
Else that there is an IELTS online, which is called the IELTS indicator, which, as Cecile said, is really accessible, especially now. However, that test is not valid for visa requirements. So in this situation, we created an in-house test exceptionally this year for all the students who needed a visa and an English test. And in terms of the TOEFL IBT, it is valid for visas, for admission, so it's valid for everything. But as we've mentioned before, if you've studied intensively in English in the last 3 years, we can look at that as well and see how, what your level of English is. But yes, we do accept officially the IELTS and TOEFL.
There is a question, how old should I have to join you? Actually, there is no age. You need to be to have your high school diploma. Even if you're not 18, you can still join the program. There is a limit of age, so you cannot be older than 24. I think it's easily, or 23. I have to check that. Oksana, do you know the exact? 24, yeah.
Yeah, 24. That's the limit. Yeah, for sure. Do you require a foundation year for international students? I'm guessing this question comes from someone from Latin America, perhaps, because their structure is like 10 years sometimes. And here in Europe, you have to do 12 years to be considered like a full diploma. It depends, because you have foundation years that are valid for UK universities only. So we do expect you to have the complementary of 12 years in total of high school, to be accepted into the program. So it depends. It's a case by case, because every school system, especially in Latin America, is slightly different. Also, the time when you finish your studies. So it depends on where you come from, actually. But I mean, in general, it's actually 2 years that we require for certain systems. It depends.
Okay. Is it possible to transfer university credits? Yes, so we accept also direct entry in second year. So you have two possibilities: to enter in first year, and we can recognize up to 3 management courses, which is typically 18 ECTS credits. You have to require it to the local director of studies, and by providing the syllabus of the course, and it will be allowed or not. If you want to enter in the second year, it's possible. Of course, you should have finished your first year, and we should check also your program, your current program at your current university, if it matches or not with our bachelor first year. There will be some differences, and you will have some catch-up courses to do just before the academic year starts. But if you have doubt regarding to that, you can contact us by email and send the courses you are following in your current university, and we can have a look at it.
Mathematics IB courses, application and analysis, yes, of course, we can accept it. It depends of level, of course, as we thought.
It's higher studies. I mean, I've had a case where they were studying something that would be considered like microeconomics, for example, that is also done at our school. Upon analysis, it depends. I mean, not strictly from the IB program, but it depends on the contents you are studying. If there's a subject that is considered valid for higher studies, like for university studies that you're doing, which is an option in some cases, we can take that into revision. But it's not common, honestly. It's not very common that happens.
Okay, the question, are the tuition fees in all the country, the campus the same? I think you already answered that, Roxana. Yes, it is the same. The cost of life will be different according to the city where you will live.
Are the questions so far?
Yes. Hi from me, ladies. Again, just wanted to join in and say thank you for answering all these great questions. Uh, Unfortunately, I don't see any more coming up in our uh, question panel. So, if you would like to wrap up with some more statements about ESCP, that will be great. And once again, thank you for the great presentation, and thanks to everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, Pavel. So I'm going to go start with I'm going to start with something I forgot to mention, because in the presentation we said that for Madrid it's Portuguese and Spanish students. It's actually also Latin American students that the Madrid campus manages. So if you're from any of the countries I've seen on here, like Argentina, the Dominican Republic, Colombia, Ecuador, then I will, you should get in touch with me via email, because I see there was a question mentioning how you should contact us, right? So you should definitely contact us via email or phone us, but definitely just send us a message. And I would like to thank you for coming in today, and I hope you've gotten answers to some of your questions, and know that we are here for any other questions you may have. And wishing you a great rest of the week, and a great weekend as well.
Thank you all for being connected, and thank you for your question. And as Roxana said, if you are living in Spain, Portugal, or South America, you can contact her, while Turin will be in charge of candidates who are residents in Italy. I see that there is someone for Azerbaijan, I think, at the beginning, so this person should refer to us as well. And if you have doubt, you can contact anybody, and they will forward it to the right recruiter. Okay. So thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you very much once again. Thanks for being part of today's SRT webinar series. We hope to see you again on our sessions in the upcoming days. Stay tuned for more SRT events, and stay safe. Thanks for joining us again.